Hi, welcome to another video. So, Block, which is Jack Dorsey's company behind Square, Cash App, and the Goose coding agent, has just open-sourced a new desktop app called Berd. It's the app their own teams have been using internally to work with AI agents, and now they've made it public and completely free. Basically, Berd is a desktop app that acts as one single place for all your AI coding agents. It works with Claude, Codex, Copilot, AMP, Cursor Agent, and obviously Goose as well. So, instead of juggling multiple CLI tools in different terminal windows, you get one app where you can pick your harness, pick your model, and get to work. The tagline is literally less chatting, more building, and the whole thing is built around these weird little 3D characters that represent your agents. It's a bit strange, but it's also kind of charming, to be honest. It's fully open source under the Apache 2 license, and you can grab it from Berd.xyz or from their GitHub repo. You don't pay Block anything, you just bring your existing subscriptions or API keys for whichever agent you want to use. Now, let me show you how it works. When you first open the app, you get this welcome screen that says, "Welcome to Berd, your place for doing." You just click "Let's go," and it takes you through a quick onboarding. First, it asks what kind of work you do. There are options like engineering, legal, marketing, product, design, and writing. Based on what you pick, it recommends some agents for you to set up. In my case, it recommended 3 agents, a generalist, a builder, and a reviewer, and this is where you meet the characters. The generalist is this chrome cube guy, the builder is a starfruit with a face, and the reviewer is literally a pushbin with legs. These are honestly some of the weirdest mascots I've seen in any AI app, but they do make the whole thing feel less sterile. You can just click Keep 'em and move on. After that, it asks you to install your agent harnesses. You get the full list here: Claude Code, Codex, Copilot, AMP, and Cursor Agent. You just select the ones you want and hit Install. Now, here's a rough edge. When I tried installing Claude Code, it just said Setup, hit a snag, and gave me a retry button. It did offer a troubleshoot in chat option, which is a nice touch, but it never actually told me what went wrong. Keep in mind, the app literally just came out, so some of this is expected. Codex, on the other hand, installed perfectly fine. Under the hood, you can see it pulls in the Codex ACP adapter into Berd's app data. That's because Berd talks to all these harnesses through ACP, which is the Agent Client Protocol. So any agent that speaks ACP can plug into it. Once you're in, you land on this home screen, and this is where Berd really doesn't look like any other AI app. It's basically an open canvas with a dotted background, and your agent characters just walk around on it. There's a jelly guy wandering across the screen, a Swiss Army knife with a face, and you can even place widgets like an analog clock on the canvas. It feels more like a little desktop toy than a dev tool, and I can see some people loving it and some people finding it too much. At the bottom, there's the chat box. This is where the important stuff happens. You can pick your agent harness, so Goose, Claude Code, Codex, Copilot, AMP, or Cursor Agent, and then pick the model for it. With Codex, for example, you get the full model list, so GPT 5.4, 5.5, and all the GPT 5.6 variants like Luna, Sol, and Terra. You can also set the reasoning effort from off all the way up to max, which is quite great to see exposed right in the UI. Now let's talk about the agents page, because this is the core concept of Berd. Agents here are basically pre-configured personas with their own instructions, and each one has its own character model. There's Berdy, which helps you work with Berd itself. There's Copycat, which learns your writing style over time, so it can write without sounding like AI. There's Pushback, which is described as the critical eye that you hand your drafts to. There's Choosey, which helps you make decisions without making them for you. There's Tinker, which builds new agents and skills when you need them. And there's Wildcard, which just gives you unhinged ideas that you wouldn't come up with alone. You can chat with any of them directly, or you can mention them inside any chat to pull them in. And if you want your own custom agent, there's an agent builder that builds agents with you and keeps improving them. This is a really good option for non-technical people because you never have to write a system prompt by hand. Next, there are projects, and this works a lot like projects in other AI apps, but with a folder attached. I created one by clicking Create a Project. You give it a name, so I called mine Movie Reviews Sharing. Then you pick the folder it should work from, and I just made a new empty folder for it. And then there's a context box where you describe what the project is about. You can also customize the project icon with different colors, which is a small thing, but it's nicely done. For the context, I told it that I want a simple web app where anyone can select a movie, write a review, and export a well-formatted image with the movie poster and their review to share on social media. So let's actually make it build this thing. I started a new chat inside the project with Codex using GPT 5.6 Sol and just told it to do it for me. And this is where you can see that these are proper coding agents, not just chatbots. It immediately started planning the build strategy and said it would build a self-contained movie review card maker with movie selection, review writing, live composition, and a downloadable social image. Then it went ahead and ran commands to inspect the workspace, saw that the folder was completely empty and not even a Git repo, and decided to treat it as a greenfield MVP. Then it did something that I really liked. Instead of just assuming things, it stopped and asked me a proper question. It asked whether the movie selection should use a curated, built-in catalog that works with no API key, a live movie search through something like TMDB, which needs an API key, or both. I told it that TMDB will be better, and it agreed, and said it would structure the movie search through a small server-side proxy so the access token stays out of the browser, with ENVA configuration and proper handling for missing tokens. It even offered to put together mockups and comparisons in a browser tab as we go, while warning me that this can be token-intensive. That kind of honesty about your token usage is pretty good for sure. While it was working, I also checked out the skills system. If you type / in the chat, you get a skills menu, and Berd ships with some skills out of the box, like Agent Builder, API, and Interface Design, Avant-Garde Front-End, and Berd Help. These work like the skills you'd find in Claude Code, so they're basically reusable instructions that get pulled in when needed. You can also hit the Add key to reference agents or files from the same menu. And one more nice touch. When the agent finishes responding, you get a proper desktop notification with a sound. So what do I think overall? I think Berd is a really interesting take on the whole agent front-end space. Tools like this already exist, but most of them are aimed squarely at developers and look like IDEs. Berd is clearly trying to make CLI agents like Claude Code and Codex usable for people who would never touch a terminal, and the characters, the canvas, and the guided onboarding all push in that direction. The fact that it's free and open source, and that it lets you use all the major harnesses with your existing subscriptions in one place, makes it very easy to recommend trying. If you're already paying for Claude Code or Codex, this is just a nicer window into them. That said, it is brand new, and it shows. The Claude Code setup failed on my machine, and I had to work with Codex instead. And if you're a power user who lives in the terminal, the playful stuff might get in your way rather than help. But for a first open source release, this is quite great. And since Block is using this internally themselves, I'd expect it to improve fast. Overall, it's pretty cool. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you liked this video, consider donating through the Super Thanks option or becoming a member by clicking the Join button. Also, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, bye.